Y'all run very impressive operation. Y'all keep down. I appreciate that. Sure does.
You have to bend with the boxes. What? You have to bend with the boxes. It's in his arm.
Gosh, I rolled around in that dirt. Yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate that. What you got there? Treasure. Okay. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Somebody's going to take my picture, aren't you? Okay.
Hello?
Here.
How you doing? Uh-oh. Hey, is that good? This is good.
Was very impressive. Yeah, it was. But yeah, that
This is
Y'all part of the Republican Party?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Good. Hello, sir. Well, let's see how it is. You know what? Everybody talks about politics. I won't back up. So, you don't know 30 seconds. I'm going to tell you, there's food over there, sir. We appreciate that. It's really amazing how they're seeing that. Come on, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, I like the shoot. I like the shoot.
Yeah, I would agree. Just get back to the family and faith and just the American freedom. Appreciate y'all showing the nation.
Oh, we appreciate you coming here.
How y'all doing? Maybe not. Good, 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 good. Hello. Gosh. Appreciate y'all coming. Thank you. Man, it's been a whirlwind week. I'm trying to, I didn't talk all over here because I'm losing my voice. And it happens all the time in Washington. Usually it will happen around Thursday night or something.
it's always the worst for you. You got the good picture or the nice smile and everything.
We have an academy. People get nominated, get accepted to military academies. Always do it. It's kind of like an athletic celebration or signing ceremony. And so I had to stop. I couldn't go past that. And that young man, he is the closest child. So I had to stop. And I'm suit, coat, and tie, and rode up through that, throwing that. I was on the back seat trying to throw my regular working clothes, you know.
I didn't wear my shirt because I was moving a lot.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. We know how to that's just the Always lived up here. Well, that's good. I remember 30 years. Actually, by that time,
I actually lived here 30 years ago. Now I don't know where anyone
when I sit down at night, I don't have to see and I
So where is your daughter?
Good.
get in there occasionally, but the city is not what I love.
So occasionally every time we drive in, it's do this every day.
What I notice the most for me when I'm visiting her is I get tired because it's so quiet. The wind in the trees, it's almost like a tree house. Cities when I'm with her, it's kind of it's just always loud, and I find it very tired.
Well, I appreciate that.
Which I'm surprised.
Logo. Oh God, Lee, man, that's old school. Yeah. You know, when they do the walkout, if I have a walkout song or anything, it's funny. It's probably a long time ago. I told man, I would love to walk out to East Mountain now. There's, you know, Jerry and all that's what they started doing. That's how it is.
I mean,
Because Smokey the Bandit was actually filmed now. And when he's in the convoy of trucks, the all trucks, there's a convoy of trucks. That's a great fucking oh yeah, banjos, yeah, t-shirts everywhere. Yeah, appreciate y'all coming out. Hello. All right, keep on in. I just want to say hello. Well, we can arrange that too. Because the funny thing is, they send me because they say if I do that, they talk. And they don't pay me, you can pay me to talk. So, this is a type stuff that energizes me. You know, my voice, this place,
Like my
we do
kids.
4 stops a day, since we left Monmouth. Yeah, I do it last week. So it kind of, my voice will get a little strange. Sing anyway. But other than that, it's just, when you meet people and you feel that that's what I'm saying.
I like that comment about these polls. This is for splitting between 50 and
so we would always travel.
Stop. 19, in South Georgia, started to leave, or actually in that area, went to South Georgia, then went to yeah, we were in St. Mary's to start the day, and worked our way up the back, so we swings for it's been about 4. We're only doing 1 day.
I sold that bike and got
Even the cab county. And he's back in DC for a week. Yeah.
No, I had to pay before I got I still got my single pilot, but I had to sell the plane. My wife said, "Let's start all my It's been an honor. I tell you, all the time, I had to go home. I probably had one of the most successful careers not just actually passing legislation, but helping people all throughout the state. And say, Mike, I need some help. And we did. It's been amazing ride. It's an amazing ride right now. Hey, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all coming out. Yes, ma'am. What's your first name? Lynn. Okay, good to meet you. I grew up under a Mack truck with no muffler, so it's taking its toll. Yes, sir. That's like mine. But it's county. And the thing is, I mean, it's not the big red still, but you know it's rated for what, 120 miles an hour?
It's on top of our hill.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the only reason you want to go red now is if like you want to put a crane or something. Yeah. So if you're not doing it, it's definitely those guys are phenomenal. This type people, they love what they do. Did y'all go down there? Did y'all go down to Jackson? Yeah, so you saw that facility? Yeah, I mean, they love to build them out there so you can see them. You go touch and feel them. Appreciate y'all coming. Hey, I'll tell you what, if I can have your attention before we get started, because I know everybody stays busy. back, and we got back on track. So now we're up here in Clayton. And thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out. I think the fact that we have seen crowds like this everywhere we have gone tells me just how important that you know this election is and how engaged the people are, because we're seeing it everywhere we go. And the neat thing is you can feel the push. You know how it is when you got momentum and people are encouraging and pushing you to do something. So it's been a great 4.5, almost 5 days. My voice is almost shot. It does go hoarse on me when I'm in DC a lot on Thursdays and Thursday afternoons. But man, I started fighting this thing on Wednesday here. And when you're doing 4 events a day, whoo, man, that's a lot for even the old trucker, man. I know people say we used to talk, but that's still a lot. Listen, I want to go through real quickly and just kind of piecemeal some things together for you, because I think it's very important with this being the #1 race in the country to flip. And it is flippable. And get that rascal out of that U.S. Senate seat. Because I think everyone sitting in here understands that this guy doesn't represent our state, he doesn't represent the people, he doesn't represent our values. Lord help, I don't think anybody in here would ever agree with letting men play in girls' sports. That's just one small example that we have of what this guy stands for. But I just want to roll through who I am, kind of what the lay of the land is out there, where everybody's standing, where we're going, and how do we get to the main objective here. Those of you that don't have a clue who I am, I'm Mike Collins. I was born, raised, lived, worked the whole 9 yards down in Jackson, Georgia, in Butts County, which is about halfway between Atlanta and Macon. I've been married to my wife Leanne for 37 years. We actually went to high school together. And we've got 3 grown kids and 7 grandkids now. We finally had number 7 about 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So y'all have had an incredible life. Just crazy, incredible life. Second generation in the trucking business. My parents hauled logs out of the woods for Georgia Pacific, and that's where I cut my teeth. Leanne and I, a little over 30 years ago, in our infinite wisdom, decided we'd start our own trucking company, and we actually decided to go over the road so we could be in the regulated side. Boy, that was good thinking at the time. but no, I want you to picture this in your head as we go along, because I want to go over the rest of this thing, and I just want you to kind of keep this going throughout. But in October, you're going to have the opportunity to see 2 people on a stage. And over here, you're going to have me, that old blue-collar, small businessman, successful in the trucking business. Started with 1 truck. Today we run around 100 trucks across this country every day. And for 30 years, getting beat on in one of the most taxed and regulated industries that there is in this country. And being able to take that experience, and I've only served 1 full term, take that with me to Washington, D.C., and be successful in getting 2 pieces of legislation passed, signed into law by 2 presidents of different parties. The second one, which was that Lincoln Romney Act. That was the very first piece of legislation that President Trump signed into law when he returned to the White House. And as a matter of fact, if you take a look at that bill in just 1 year's time, 1 year, that piece of legislation, those simple 3-4 page legislation, has taken over 20,000 illegal criminals off our streets, making this country safer. That's what you're going to have over here. Now, over here, you're going to have John Ossoff. Guy who's never had a job in his life, y'all. As a matter of fact, this guy is bought and paid for by those crazy folks out of California and those nut jobs out of New York. Thank you. Yeah, but all you got to do is look at his voting record. This guy cares more about illegals than he does Americans. And with the majority of his money coming out of those 2 areas in these blue states, they get him reelected this time. Number 1, he'll be there till the cows come home. Number 2, you don't think they won't call that note due? That he will be bought and paid for. So that's what you're going to be looking at. But before we can get there, we are where we are today. We're in the primary. And what is our real mission in this thing? Because this is what I looked at before I got in this race. The real mission is to put a Republican in this seat. Wouldn't you agree?
That's right.
That's it. But in order to do that, you've got to make sure that you put the right Republican up against John Ossoff. Now, if you take a look at the midterm elections are nothing but turnout, turnout, turnout. That's it. You line up the red, you line up the blue, pop, whoever's on top is going to win this thing. So you've got to be able to turn out the votes of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party in the state of Georgia is made up primarily of two people, two voters. You've got the MAGA crowd, or the low propensity voter, whatever you want to call it, that shows up only when President Trump's on the ballot, or a Trump candidate is on the ballot. Well, let's take a look at the people that are running in this on the Republican side. We all had the same opportunities to go out there. We all had the same. I'm the only candidate that's been with President Trump since 2016. I maxed out to that man all the way through. But I also took it another step further. I mean, I was out there across the country with President Trump knocking on doors for him. I mean, I was out there in 40 degrees below zero in Iowa. It was cold. We all had that opportunity. But I even took it another step further past that. And I went out there and found 6 candidates across the country, and they had to meet certain criteria. If they did, I'd come out there, not just go out there and shake hands, take a picture and come back. I stayed 2 and 3 days knocking on doors. And the reason for that was because we've got good Republicans in Congress, but I wanted to add to make sure that we had President Trump's back this time when we got him in the White House. Everybody had those opportunities to do that, but I was the only one. And the MAGA crowd, they see that. They know that. Now, the other group, I just call them the Atlanta suburban crowd. Great people. This is what they want. They want somebody to go to Washington, D.C. and get something done. They want somebody to deliver for them. Deliver results. Well, if you take a look at those 2 pieces of legislation, both of them are bipartisan. That's not a bad word to them. If it's good policy, I don't care who's for it. I push everybody. As a matter of fact, if you take the Lake and Riley Act and that piece of legislation, I knew I could get it out of the House. I mean, we had a majority of Republicans. That was easy. But I also knew that I couldn't get it out of the Senate unless I put leverage over and pressure. The way I did that was with Democrats. I went door to door talking to them and explaining my bill. I had several say, man, Mike, we've never had a Republican in here to talk about pushing his own legislation. Matter of fact, we took 36 Democrats out of the House that signed on and voted for that over to the Senate. That's how we got it passed. But I also had a Democrat named John Ossoff. And I went and sat down with him and talked to him about this piece of legislation and how this little simple legislation could help prevent another Georgia like being lost to an illegal immigrant. He never helped. He never lifted a finger. He never helped push it. I mean, at the end of the day, he voted for it, but it already passed, so it didn't really mean much. But the Atlanta people see that. That's your 2 groups. That's the people you've got to turn out if you're going to succeed in November. So let's look at where we've identified the voters. Let's look at where we all stand right now. Y'all, I'm extremely proud to be endorsed by Lake and Riley's family. The National Border Patrol Council has endorsed us. Turning Point Action, Charlie Kirk, the foundation he started, has endorsed us. CPAC, Club for Growth. There is a reason that those groups endorsed us. And it's because they score your votes. Those groups up there are going to score you on how you vote. I'm the only not the only person. Out of everybody running in this race, nobody has a more conservative voting record, according to them, than I do. I'm in the high 90s. Club for Growth, which is, they focus on economic stuff, I've got a 100% rating with those folks. My opponent in this race, he's in the low 60s. To me, that's not MAGA and that's not America First. But that's the ratings. Take a look at the people that have endorsed us. Over 200 local and state officials out there, elected officials that have endorsed my campaign. All the way up to former Speaker Newt Gingrich. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is I deliver results. I mean, I know how to win. I've shown that in what I've been able to get past. And if they need something, they know because they can call on me and I'll get it done. And that just isn't really a typical politician, especially not in Washington. But there's another reason that they've endorsed our campaign. If you take a look, the Senate race in this contest is the top of the ballot. When you agree, this is the top of the ballot. And if you don't turn out the votes for the U.S. Senate race, then some of these down ballot races, y'all, they're getting a little bit tighter. They're getting a little closer. And so you need to make sure that you turn out Republicans so that some of these folks down below can make it through as well. Look at the polling data that's out there right now. If you look at the polling data, I have been in the lead in this race since I got in this thing. And if you look at me up against John Ossoff on a head-to-head matchup, every general election poll data out there, I have either been tied with John Ossoff or in the margin of error. No, there's a reason for that. It's because the people that we've got to turn out understand that we've got to have the right candidate in there. That's why we're heading the polls. Yeah, let's look at grassroots support out there. Yeah, we're the only campaign out there that organized all 159 counties with over 800 convoy captains. That's called county chairs. I use a lot of trucks. That's just county chairs. That's almost unheard of. I mean, normally you'll get one in each county, you know, and a couple of my polls didn't even bother to do that. That's people out there pushing our message, pressing, talking to folks, putting up one like those signs back there. Yo, we've got over 15,000 yard signs in people's yards. So that's the lay of the land. That's where we're sitting. That's where we see the candidates. But let me ask y'all a question. This is what I like to ask folks. How many times have you seen Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, only to struggle to get things done?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there right now. And it always seems the problem is over here in the House, in the Senate. I mean, the House, we passed tons of stuff over there, but it just falls in this black hole over there. And it's not because we don't have enough Republicans, we do. But it's because we don't have the right Republicans over there.
That's right.
Not all Republicans are created equal. I mean, we got Republicans, they'll spend your money as fast as a Democrat. You also got folks up there that are too scared to say no. If they say no too much, that, you know, if they do their annual fundraisers or golf fundraiser or something, that the lobbyists won't show up because they're mad. Well, I don't play golf, and I don't do the cocktail scene, so I don't do that. We don't need politicians up there either that are sending billions of dollars overseas. Not when we got veterans here that are sleeping under bridges. Thank you, man. One of the main reasons I went up there was for veterans. Y'all, we don't need politicians up there that are getting rich off of trading stock either. And we don't need politicians that are running around hollering and screaming they're as conservative can be when they vote like Democrats. You know, I'll admit, hey, any Republican to me is better than a Democrat any day of the week. But just because you got an R behind your name, it don't mean you'll stand up and take the tough votes and stand up for America first. Well, here's one thing for certain. I will never, ever apologize for being America first. That's why I went up there. As a matter of fact, this is what I am. I'm unapologetically pro-God, pro-Trump, pro-Second Amendment, pro-strong military. Y'all, peace through strength works. If it's not good for Georgia and it ain't good for this country, I won't support it, period. If y'all are looking for a good, solid, conservative workhorse, somebody that's going to go up there and fight for your values and my values, then I need your help. I do. I want to leave you with this one thought, because I get asked this all the time. And I think I told some folks in here, you know, I think I've probably had one of the most successful careers of anybody in Congress. I mean, in just 2 short years, 2 pieces of legislation signed like that. But the amount of stuff that we've done across this state, from the subcommittee that I still chair, to being able to help get things moved. The secret to my success, and that's easy. I learned the hard lessons over here in something called the real world. You know, like knowing when to compromise, when not to budge, when making sure that I get the best deal so that I keep families fed and employees employed, or just staying in business. Because I swear y'all, there were a lot of days I felt like that the federal government's #1 job was to put me out of business. And that's the perspective that I took with me to Washington. That's the perspective that I take with every vote that I cast. That's what we need more of in the Senate. And that's exactly what you'll get out of me. Because Lord knows we need some more backbone over there.
That's true.
Early voting's going on right now. Started last week. If you haven't voted, I would love to have you support. If you did vote, I hope you voted for us. I would love to finish this thing off in May. Sure save the state of Georgia a whole lot of time and money. And we could get on to the real mission, which is putting a Republican in that seat. If you haven't, please go vote. Drag all your friends with you. May 19th's coming up. We're in the short rows on this thing. Y'all help me get through this thing in May. And we'll win this thing in November. And this is all I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to take that old chair I got up there. I'm going to throw it on top of my desk. I'm going to slide it all the way across the rotunda. And I'll set up shop on the other side of the counter. When I get over there, I'll pull out something called a pink slip. Poor old John ain't gonna know what that is. But I'll give it to him and tell him, John, you're fired. Go back to wherever you came from.
Amen.
Listen, I would love to have you up. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming out. Where, do we have time for?
We do.
Okay.
We can take a couple questions.
Yeah. Does anybody got anything on their mind? Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things that you said was that whether it's Republican or Democrats, they're like the wrong kind of Republican will spend your money. And that's one thing that I think a lot of Republicans are upset about. Republicans and Democrats and independents and everybody.
Yeah.
So we seem to be spending money like as fast as we can print it.
Yeah,
And the debt, the national debt keeps going up and up and up, but that's going to go up because of
Yeah.
interest. The national deficit has to do with the budget. And
That's
what
right.
budget is passed. And this budget right now is out of control. What do you plan to do?
No, you're exactly right. And we're continuing to cut to where we could balance the budget in 10 years. The budget has been cut. Here's the biggest problem in Congress. They never pass the budget, and they never pass 12 appropriation bills. That's been going on for decades. All we do is continuous resolutions, throw it over there to an agency, see you later. Then they're out of control because there's no oversight. There's no control over them. You got to get back to regular order. Give me a budget and pass 12 appropriation bills. Now, we passed all 12 last year. Granted, it was late, but we got them passed. And right now, that DHS appropriate bill is the one that they shut down in the Senate and didn't want to fund DHS and Border Patrol. That's just part of it. You get that, you continue to cut your expenses on the 25%. The 75% over here from the tax portion, we got to keep going after waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, y'all saw what happened in Minnesota. Have y'all seen the latest report from Georgia? In the first quarter of Georgia, 23 million in fraud on SNAP. That's where you'll find a lot of the savings. You do that, you couple that with President Trump and the administration's push to keep taxes low, put money back in people's pockets, get these regulations under control, get it to where businesses can come back. You boost up that economy, and what's that give you? It gives you more people paying taxes. That's how you get this thing back into balance. And it's very easy. You just run this thing like a business. So, yes, sir.
2024 was kind of, well, what point I'm going to get to is we have Fulton County and some of the other counties on the run right now as far as for fraudulent elections. I mean,
Yes, sir.
we're leaning on them really heavy. I don't know how much of office ballots were legal last time, but how much do you think that's gonna help you now? Because I don't think we're gonna have as much fraud. I mean, you could probably pay a guy, you know, $5 to go stuff a ballot box
Yeah.
5 years ago, but right now, he's gonna say, I ain't stuffing that ballot box.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that there aren't, the drop boxes have been removed.
Right.
Secure.
You know, we gotta quit, we don't need to change the rules in the middle of the game like they did last time. And when they decided to mail out absentees to everybody in your family and your pets and all of that. And get away from the drop boxes, which you did, clean up the voter rolls, continue to clean up the voter rolls. But here's the biggest thing we can do right now, has to Save America Act. That gets right back to that thing.
Yeah, that's not gonna affect you right now. What I'm trying to say is.
No, sir.
I think we're gonna have a better election in our state this year than we've had.
Yes, sir. And here's what I like. When I tell folks that I'm either tied or within the margin of error of John Ossoff, how many of y'all knew John Ossoff before I walked in here? Everybody, right? How many of y'all knew me?
Yeah.
My name ID is nowhere near his. And I'm already tied with this guy. That tells you where the momentum and push is. We can beat this guy. This is the #1 race to flip. And he is beat. So.
Because this is a proud state to have 2 communists in the Senate right now. It's just-
We got to rock.
You wanna do one more?
Let me take this young man right here and then I know we're.
The Senate is often known as a place where things go to die. 60 vote rule.
Yes, sir.
What's your feeling on that issue?
You know what? This is the way I feel. If we could vote just a majority over there, and they took up the legislation that we've been sending them and pass it, Republicans would stay in control for it. We're sending so much good stuff over there to help Americans, and they'll know it, and they'll feel it back here, and they will reward you like handsomely for that.
To get rid of it.
Whatever it takes to get this legislation passed, do it. If that's get rid of it, get rid of it. Hey, listen, I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you for coming out. God bless you, and I'd love to have you help me support it. Thank you.